What's up, guys? Checking in with you with another throwing session and also some gym time in this video. It covers over a couple of days of some training with me. Out throwing in the front yard or in the road in front of my house. Getting warmed up. When I don't get in the gym right before training, I have to find ways to warm up like I would on a field, and this is a great way to get some a little bit of like a kettlebell swing. It's not exactly like a kettlebell swing. 56 pounds is pretty light for a kettlebell swing for a bigger guy, but it's a good way to get the motion going a little bit. And then, of course, the pendulums, the weight pendulums. Once again, you should be throwing those in training. I'm 100% a believer after learning about these from Christine Rothwell. Really helps you find your feet and find your motion. If you've been watching the videos, you know that I've said it multiple times. But it's a great way, low impact way to get the body warmed up and ready for this movement. Then I go into some heavyweight stand throws. Told a number of people this. Stand throws with the heavy, probably not the best idea until you've reached a certain level of skill, intermediate to advanced thrower. They're not going to be very productive. You end up fighting the weight a whole lot. It is a good way to get the feel of pulling from the low point if you can handle it. I advise you doing it with the lightweight first. But hey, you want to give a shot with the heavy, you can throw it in there. Get her done. Nothing real productive with this session with the 56. It wasn't, no light bulbs really clicked. I can say I was a little off balance. I figured out a couple of things in here that maybe I could improve on. I'm getting really lazy with the entry, with the cast in. You can see here, let's see if I do it here. That one was a little bit better, but basically when I'm casting in, instead of just keeping and pushing that weight away from me and around, I have a tendency to let gravity bring it back down to the back, and that does alter the orbit a little bit and slows me down. So I figured it out, not as much in this session, but in a future video I'll talk about that a little bit more. Overall, did okay. I think this is one of the first days I've thrown with a trig board there, just to give me the visual indicator and getting used to working in that smaller space with the toe board. Throwing with some friends, sometimes it takes longer. Some good, some bad that comes with throwing in a group. It drags out the practice a little bit longer, but also, I'm one of those guys that I learn through coaching sometimes. I can make it make sense to somebody else. I have to stop and think a little bit more when I'm explaining something to somebody else, and it makes me a little bit more aware of what I'm doing as well. So that was it with the 56. Threw in the 28 here a little bit, and got a nice smooth throw somewhere out there in 70-foot land. Started kind of jerking on my elbow a little bit there, so I only got a couple of throws in with the 28. With that extra speed, really yanked on the elbow some, and I was kind of trash. Distance was still there, but it felt like the water that's left in the bottom of your garbage can when you take the garbage out. That's a lot what it felt like, and that one was even worse. So tried a little bit of different cast here, and I won't be doing that anymore. Hit myself in the leg a little bit there, trying to shape the cast a little bit more like what Christine Rothwell does, and I'm not Christine Rothwell. I can't do it, and it shows. I don't know, maybe I'll revisit it again in the future, but hoping to get a little bit more speed on the 28. Next day I got in the gym and spliced my throwing drills in with some lifting. Great way to set up a gym session, especially if the weather's kind of crappy outside and you do have access to tools like sandbags, throw bags. This is a Cerberus throw bag. Splicing these in your warm-ups and maybe even in between sets is a great idea. Kind of, keeps the thing, keeps the goal. You don't get too carried away in the gym. If you're like me, a gym junkie, a meathead, you can get a little carried away in the gym. This keeps me on track and focused for what I am there to do. I am in the gym to get stronger as it relates to throwing and to get better at throwing. So I want to do things that allow me to do that, to be better. And so just a reminder of why I'm here. Nothing crazy, mostly just cast and drops. I did the pendulums, swings again, and then I did several cast and drops. Focus on cast and drops, if you haven't seen me talk about it before, is to get the left foot or the right foot to replace the left foot. In order to do that, you do have to kind of get the bag to get around a little bit more in front of you before you make the switch on your feet. Otherwise, you'll find yourself jumping across the trig and probably taking up space in the trig, space that you could use to get some drive and get some speed through on the sprint phase. That was a good angle of that. Jumped into some safety squat bar. I'll add in I think I add in a box later on this video. But again, safety squat bar is the staple squat movement that I'll be using for my weight training sessions almost exclusively. I'll switch it up, I'm sure, every once in a while just to keep things fresh, but it's a great movement. It's great for developing the quads. It's great for developing the core. Really can target a lot of areas all at one time. And it's easy on the shoulders, which really comes in important later in the season when you're maybe kind of banged up from all the throwing, which I'm sure I will be. Again, splicing and throwing drills. Got some med ball passes, med ball throws. Basically working like a stone practice in between sets of squats. No reason not to do it. Just staying fast and staying moving between the sets. And then, yeah, I did throw in that box here. So sets of 2, somewhat of a high box, as I've talked about before. It keeps the pressure off of keeps the range off of my knees. And I've never really had a problem with depth in my life. So I'm not training for a powerlifting meet, so depth doesn't matter a whole lot for my purposes right now. Not to say that you shouldn't go through some full ranges of motion in your training. You should always try to achieve full ranges of motion and keep up on that. But hey, this is squats for a very specific reason. I have a purpose, so not concerned about my ability to hit depth, or not trying to have any illusions about, oh man, I can squat 700 pounds in SPF style, not hit depth at all. Not worried about it. But I am worried about being explosive, so there's the box for. Keep my reps on squats for speed squats to sets of 2. I don't know, it feels right. Something about a West Side method where the amount of time that it takes you to do one grinding rep is about the same amount of time it should take you to do your speed reps, like sets of 2 and maybe even sets of 3. So I don't know. Keep that in mind. Or maybe it's just I can count to 2 really easily. After the safety squat bar, I am getting my hands on the Olympic-ish lifts. High pulls, really going to be the bulk of the training. Not necessarily concerned about catching any of my cleans or snatches. I just trying to get the bar pull high, get the hips activated. They were really slow, and they have been in the last couple sessions of doing this. Hips are not really getting into it. I think maybe just activation and getting used to the movement again is going to bring me a long way in that. But overall, they felt all right. I think whatever worked up to just doing sets with 275. Not a whole heap and heck of a lot of weight. Justin Blacknick probably laughing at me right now. Little baby weights. Nick Aston also laughing at me with my baby weights, but hey, whatever. So anyway, that's it. About all the lifting and all the throwing I could handle in a couple of days. Until next time, guys, lift heavy, lift smart. Take care of each other and take care of yourself. Later.